Hi, I'm Kent. I am just about out of slip, which makes it hard to make new slip cast pots. Up until this point, I've been making my slip out of regular throwing clay, but at the pottery store, it's not available right now with the supply chain issues. So I was looking around at alternatives, and in the meantime, I've also been learning more about clay and the different ways clay are made and what's inside of it. I'm still very much a novice here, but what I've learned a little bit is that for throwing clay, you actually want some plasticity to it so that you can manipulate it on the wheel and it stays together. However, I think for slip casting, that might be a little bit counterproductive. I'm a little bit worried actually that the clay will get sticky because I've had that problem a couple of times. Now, maybe my water content's wrong or I have the wrong amount of Darvine 7, but I think the clay itself is probably partially at play. So I was looking around at what clays my pottery shop has, and there's a cone 5/6 clay in dry form that's actually meant for slip casting. So rather than buy regular throwing clay and turn it into slip, I'm going to do it the right way this time and start with some powdered clay and turn that into slip. So here is all of my regular slip right now. This is both my reclaimed clay as well as the last of the original clay that I had. I mixed it together since I was running low. It's getting to the point where it's actually hard to fill up some of my molds because they take most of the slip. So let's go ahead and make up a new batch. So here is my new clay. It is 25 pounds of Islea. This is a white kind of porcelain style clay. And obviously it comes in dry form. So I am going to mix this up into slip. I've also cleaned off my drill attachment so that I'm not going to cross-contaminate the clays. I also have a 5-gallon bucket here that I've washed out, and we're going to put everything into here in a minute. So for 25 pounds of clay, we need to figure out how much water we want. So I've been doing 30% water by dry weight, and with the throwing clay, I actually had to figure out how much water was already in the clay. This is dry, so I don't need to do that, which is nice. So if the 25 pounds of dry clay is 70% of the total weight, I want 35.7 pounds of water plus clay. So I want to add 10.7 pounds of water to this clay to make my slip. So 10.7 pounds is 4.85 kilograms. So that's 4.85 kilograms of water, which happens to be 4.85 liters of water. Yay, metric for the win. So I'm going to use this container, which has liters marked on it, to get the amount of water I need. All right, here is 3 liters of water. And so I need another 1.85. All right, that's probably pretty close. That was between 1.5 and 2 liters, so we can fine tune the water later. All right, next is to take all of this clay and mix it in. Now, clay obviously has silica in it and probably some other things in it that you really don't want to breathe, and in general, particulates are no good. So I'm going to, so here's my respirator. I'm going to put this in, and then I will take the clay and dump it into the water. All right, now I sound like Darth Vader, probably. All right, this is 25 pounds, so it is not light. So there's still a lot of dusty material sitting on top of the water, so I'm just going to take my paddle and see if I can get it all wet. Okay, so all of the dry material has at least a little bit of water in it, so it's not dusty anymore. Definitely need some more mixing. I also need to add in my deflocculant, so I have some Darvan 7 here. So I can put this in up to 1% by dry weight of clay, so I need basically 0.25 pounds of Darvan 7. So I got an empty container here. Let's go ahead and pour in Darvan 7. So as a sanity check, That should be 113 grams. Yep, pretty close. All right, and now let's mix this up. Wow, that's already an awesome consistency. Clearly the clay will need to slake for a little while and absorb all the water, but that is way, way easier than trying to turn wet clay into slip. All right, I'm just gonna let that sit and hydrate for a while and we'll come back to it later. So here's my slip. It has been sitting for well over a week actually. I got busy with some other things. The other big thing I did was clean off all my molds. They had a lot of leftover clay from previous castings, and again, I didn't want to cross-contaminate. So let's go ahead and give the slip a good mixing, and then we will cast our first pots with this new clay. All right, I'm going to transfer some of that slip into this container so I can pour it easier. I think I'll do that off camera since this is pretty big and heavy. All right, so I moved some slip over. I'll put this off to the side. All right, here are my cleaned off molds. They look much better than they did before. So let's cast a few pots. All right, perfect. I spilled a little bit on this one, but it is not uncommon. So we'll let this sit for a while, and then we will pour out the excess slip and then demold them and see how they turned out. All right, I think these have sat long enough. Let's dump them out. So the smaller ones I can just dump into this container here. That's it. And then the big one I am going to dump back into the original slip bucket. All right, those look pretty good. So let them dry a little bit longer, trim the tops, and then release them. I believe these have released from the molds now, and I've got a wear board here. So let's see if we can turn them out. That one's great. Perfect. I decided to cut a piece of cardboard that would fit in here so it helped catch it, because sometimes it was getting deformed as I was pulling it out. I can't quite palm this one. And there it is. Great. So here are the first three pots using my new slip. I think that slip cast pretty well. This one I probably could have let go a little bit thicker. I think these are in relatively good shape. Overall, I'm very impressed with this clay. I liked the dry clay. It turned into slip really, really easily. I let it sit for a long time. I just got busy. I could have used it probably much, much sooner. And it was much faster to mix up relative to my old process. So you'll see these pots in a future video, I am sure. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks.